أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In this session, we are going to look into how to estimate the model in SEMinR. Now, SEMinR uses estimate_PLS function to estimate the PLS-SEM model, that is your measurement model. What are the arguments that it takes? Since it's a function, so it will take certain arguments. Now, what is it that you want to estimate? You have to tell the function. What is it that you want the function to perform? What is it that you want the function to do? So you have to give it certain arguments. Now you have to specify the model that you want to estimate. But based on that, first you need to identify what is the data that on which you want to specify your measurement model. So the estimate PLS function will take the following arguments. First, you have to give it the data. Your data, and then you specify the data object. What is your measurement model? And then you give it the object, the measurement model object that you want to estimate, that you specified earlier. Then your structural model. So your object of structural model that you specified earlier will go into structural model argument. Your inner weights, that is your weighting scheme. What is your weighting scheme? In this case, it's path weighting scheme. So it will go into inner weights. The missing value, how do you want to deal with the missing values? Mean replacement. So this argument will take this value. And finally, the missing value argument will take this minus 99, and the missing value will be represented by this number here. And finally, you assign this all estimation to another object, simple_model. Now, there's one thing to understand. Whenever you are calling a function, it is returning something, and that returned something is stored in an object. In this case, we name it as simple_model. Now, it's similar to learning PLS algorithm in Smart PLS. Now again, we have already discussed these. These are the arguments, and these are the different values that it can take. So how do we estimate the model? Now here is the code. First the comment, then obviously let me complete it. Okay, now, so simple_model, this is your object, and this is the PLS function that is called with this data on this measurement model with this structural model. This will be the inner weight. This is how I want to deal with the missing values, and this is the missing value. Now look at this, bracket open, bracket close. There is only one bracket, and the arguments are separated by a comma. So data, this is the data file where your data was stored. Now this is the object where your data was stored. Now this is the object where your measurement model was specified. This is where your structural model was specified. So these are the objects. They are going into these arguments. However, note that the arguments for inner weights, missing, and missing value can be omitted if the default arguments are used. Now, if you are using the default arguments, you do not need to write this. And then it's simply like this. Now, how you do it in R? Let's have a look here. So let's copy this here, our model estimation. We just copy it and we just paste it here. Now let's run this whole thing here, maybe. Okay, so look at this now. Error in measurement mode scheme. So there is an error. Now where is this error? Now look at this here. Collaborative culture. There is a single space, but look at this here. More than one space. So let's finish this space first, add a space, and now let's run the model again. And yes, our model did run fine. Now that we have estimated the model, and that estimated model has been stored in simple_model object, what's the next step? Now next step is to generate your model summary. Now that you have estimated the model, you want the output, just as we get the output automatically in Smart PLS. Now once the model has been estimated, we can summarize the model and generate a report results using summary function. So where is my report? Which is used to extract the output and parameters of the importance for an estimated model. Now SEMinR supports the use of summary for the estimate PLS, bootstrap PLS and predict PLS. For now, we are just interested in generating the summary for our estimated model. We are going to look into these in greater detail later. So how do we apply this function? Now the summary function applied to SEMinR model object produces a summary. Now this summary can produce or give us sub-objects as well. And we can have the meta, that is the estimation function and version information. We can have the number of iterations, we can have the path details, we can have total effects, and we can have all these details. But the first thing is, how do you add the summary of estimation to your summary object? Now the first thing that you need to do is, let's go here, let's generate a summary. So I'm going to just copy this text here and generate a summary. Now what happens here is, I want the summary. I want the summary for what? For my estimated model. So what is my estimated model? Here it is. And I want to store this into this simple summary. Now once this summary is generated, let's generate the summary. Now your summary is generated, no errors. Now let's see what is in the summary. And select it if you want to just run this text. And look at this here. Look at the output. We've got R square for collaborative culture. Since we had just one DV, we have adjusted R square. And we have, look at this, vision, development and rewards. Now these are the path coefficients. Look at this, path coefficients. So path coefficients from vision to collaborative culture, from development to collaborative culture, from rewards to collaborative culture. So these are the path coefficients. Reliability, this is your alpha reliability, this is your composite reliability, and this is your average variance extracted, and this is your row A. Now this row A must be in between this alpha and composite reliability. Now how do you interpret all these? We are going to look into this later. But sometimes we are interested in plots. We want something like this as an output. So SEMinR gives us this as well. How? This will come later as well. Now that you have estimated your model and you have stored the results in this summary, now we can have specific information as well. How? Let's have a look here. Okay, let's copy this. And let's bring it here. Now look at this. Now we have inspected the summary. Let's remove this one so that we've got a comment. Now we want specific information. We just want the paths. I do not want all the details. I just want the path from the summary. So here is your summary. Then the $sign. And then what do you want? You want paths. So what can it give me? It can give me loadings, weights, paths, reliability, a number of different things. Now, let's see, I want the paths. So let's run it. So here are your paths, only the paths. Now, if you want just the reliability, you can have just the reliability as well. So this is how you can have paths, reliability, and other details as well. And here is the complete detail. Here it is. Obviously, you can refer to this book as well, and you can find these tables here as well. So you can have iterations, paths, total effects. We are going to look into all these in coming videos as well. Now moving on, once we have estimated the model like this, and we've got the summary in this object, and we have got the summary details here, the next step is estimating our structural model. Now how do we do bootstrapping in order to assess whether our structural paths are significant or not? Now bootstrapping, we are going to look into this in our next session.